And then into my adult life, I kept singing, and now here I am now with my own children, and we're singing. So I'm really excited to hear about your journey, and what singing, kind of meant to you and your family, and how
Hmm.
it kind of started. So maybe you
Yeah.
could start with just telling us all a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, okay, no problem. So yeah, like I guess when I was growing up, I was in a family that had great respect for our history and a great knowledge of it, and great love for music, So even my grandmother, like she wasn't a singer, but she'd be going around and like she might be remembering like little melodies from her childhood and things and singing them like her, and in a fun kind of a way.
So that's this project, chatting with people, finding out how those roots, those seeds really, where they were planted.
Yeah,
Interested
yeah.
to hear, what was your mom's name and your grandmother's name?
Yeah. So Mary is my mother's name and
Okay.
Bridget is my
Okay.
grandmother, rest her soul. So yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
Mm.
do you recall a particular song or a rhyme, anything from that time, and that
Yeah.
you can remember singing with them?
Yeah. So like I remember from my grandmother, she often loved to sing the one, I am the little beggar man and begging I have been for three score or more around the simple Isle of Green. I walk from the Liffey down to the zoo and I go by the name of old Johnny Doo. And she used to go around saying that. She more said it, I guess, than singing it, but I just always remembered it, like the rhyme bit, and she'd go around saying it, and little things like that they'd have had. And then I remember my mother telling me the story of my great grandmother used to sing, Dilly no douse, so douse, dilly no douse, so dee. So she used to go around singing that as well. So little things like that were, part of it as well. But I remember also like the great respect for the historical songs, that was the other thing too, that I was aware of that kind of weight that went with those songs, that that it was important, they were something kind of that should be kept alive in that way, that we wouldn't forget our history.
So hi, Margaret and Dylan and Joe. How are you all today? Are you well?
Very well, thanks.
Yes. It's great to see you, and I'm delighted that you have come along to chat with me today. So we're here today really to chat about recitations. And we have Joe O'Connor here with us. And Joe, I've the pleasure over the years to have listened to Joe on his wonderful recitations and his own compositions. And then we have Dylan Corry here from County Clare too, and his mum Margaret. I was mighty impressed at someone so young taking on something so important. Um, can you tell me when that all came about? How did that happen?
Well, I think it all really started going to speech and drama in in the parish,
In the parish.
and at the end of the year, you'd have to recite a poem,
Okay.
and I loved it.
Okay. How old are you now?
I am 11 years old.
11. Okay. So what you've been doing up to now have kind of, you like the humorous ones, the humorous
Yeah,
written verse. Okay. So when myself and Joe were chatting about one that you might like to take up from Joe and learn, it's a bit more of a serious one. It's a lament for the late Robbie McMahon.
yes.
So maybe we'll chat with Joe about that wonderful recitation. Joe, the late Robbie McMahon, has come up in this project three times through the Lilters were mentioning him as we listened to him on the Irish Traditional Music Archive, lilting, and through traditional song. And he was a dear friend of yours, and you had the pleasure of knowing Robbie rather well. Um, is there anything in particular that you could tell Dylan about Robbie and myself, because I never had the pleasure of meeting Robbie McMahon?
I first met Robbie, oh my God, when I was quite young. I was probably about Dylan's age. My father introduced me to him at Flacchio, and we remained best friends for, I suppose, 50 years. And he won All Ireland's for singing, for lilting, and for newly composed songs. And when he died in 2012, December 2012, I was asked to speak at his graveside.
Hi Liam, hi Noel, how are you?
Hello. Hello, Rachel.
It's great to have you here I'm delighted that you're coming to chat with me today. Noel, music would have been in your family.
That's right, Rachel. My dad and my granddad, they all played the fiddle, and my aunts as well, they all played music, and there was a lot of music in the house when we were growing up.
And was your dad in a Cayley band over in Clare?
Yeah, he played in the Inchi Cronin Cayley band back in the early 80s.
Okay.
And would have played with Martin Hayes, was very young at the time. He was in that band, and Francie Donlan, and there was a few of the Donlans in it, and there was Garrow O'Halloran was there as well, as piano player, and they went to the All Ireland up in Bundoran, I think, and they came third in it, and they had a great weekend anyway.
So Liam, when did all this start with you and lilting?
I suppose I was going to singing classes with Del Vaughan in Corry.
Killanora, she's in the Kilfanora Cayley band, is that right?
Yeah, Del, yeah. And when I was only about 8, I was getting songs every week, and she gave me a song which was called Miss Gilhooly's Party.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there was a bit of lilting in the song, and then it kind of just took off from there. She said, you should try that, So I was in the Fla then the next year and stuff.
Playing. And I'm wondering, you play the banjo and the flute, so your lilting sounds, do you find that you bring some of those mimicking sounds of the instruments you're playing into your lilts, or have you noticed that?
I suppose, yeah, you'd put in variations that you're doing the banjo and stuff.
Yeah.
Might put in a few triplets and stuff,
So it must have felt great to come first in your home county, was it?
It was great, yeah, it's good.
Do you remember the first lilt? I mean, the lilt I sent on to you of Robbie McMahon doing the Mason's Apron, I think it was, the recording from the ITMA. Do you remember the first lilt that you started, apart from the one with the Dell within the songs? Do you remember the first lilt that you started to do?
I think it was the Tullareel, just the Tullareel, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi Aoife, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're good. Thanks a million for coming along and chatting with me again. The last time we met, we were chatting about your granddad, John Kelly, and his wonderful collection of tunes. And we chatted about you picking a tune for Era and Cullen, and that they were going to learn it and play it at the next event, the next part of the project when we get to see you again. So we're all excited to hear what tune you decided.
Great. It's a lovely old tune. It's called the Old Concertina Reel. Some people call it John Kelly's Concertina Reel. So there's a really famous concertina reel that everybody plays on the concertina, and actually that is quite a hard tune to play on the concertina, so I think it originally was played in a different key and then it changed on the concertina. But this Old Concertina Reel is a really, really nice tune, and it's really easy to play in the concertina as well. It's a lot in the middle row of the concertina, so it's a lovely tune, and I think a lot of people that I teach it to kind of get a little bit addicted to it. It's just a really nice tune with a lovely air, and you kind of get a little bit I think people kind of fall in love with the tune. It's just a really nice tune.
Okay. Lovely. It's a lovely tune, isn't it? Yeah. You wouldn't hear that often either, right?
No, you don't hear it that often, no.
No, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to, you've set them a challenge now to go off and learn that and have it on fiddle, you said?
Yeah,
and
fiddle
you're
and
going to
piano,
try it on the
yeah.
piano? Okay. And we'll play it, they'll play it for you. Sorry?
Multi-instrumentalists there that can play.
Well, they're going to try. Thanks
Yeah,
a million for choosing that tune, and I'm sure your granddad would love all the work that you're doing and passing on all the wonderful tunes that he's collected. And
yeah, it's nice to get them played a bit more, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, and to have different tunes, because a lot of the same tunes are played over and over. So it's kind of nice to have the other ones that we just play. So it's really nice to share them with people. I love it.
Brilliant. Well, thanks a million, Aoife. We look forward to hearing it now, and we'll keep in touch. And if they've any questions, I'll pop them on to you. But,
absolutely, no problem at all.
Thanks a million, Aoife, for your time.
Aoife.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
a million. Bye. Bye.
So one of the ones that I was going to do is the Queen and a Dríomhara. So I really love this song, and Irlo Leonard was who I heard singing this first, and I just thought it was very, very beautiful. And I loved the poetry of the words in it. It's about, for those that don't know, but most will probably have heard it before, it's about our Lord's passion, and kind of from, like it says, Queen and a Dríomhara, the cleaning of the three Marys. So it's kind of from the woman's perspective as well, which is lovely too, you know. And so just the poetry of it, and then the kind of old Irish tradition is tied in with it. So long ago there would have been cleaning women that would have like gone to funerals, and they would have lamented the person that was gone to God, and so the phrase "O Cone" would have been used. So that features in this song as well. So it's kind of like a mingling of the past and then the future. So yeah, so I'm going to give that one a go, if that's okay.
Thanks, Aoife.
Our Father, us bed on Vagdum Ogrogian. O O Conig Mer Ilora Novel. Agus O Cono.
Joe guided Dylan through the process of learning it and explaining all the important aspects in it and the different place names, so that Dylan would have a wider knowledge of it. Joe, you were impressed by Dylan, and someone so young taking on, as we said, something so important.
I certainly was, Rachel, yeah. He has great potential, great future ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm dying to hear, Dylan, you've been working on the lament for the late Robbie McMahon that Joe wrote. Do you want to give us, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Off you go, Dylan, off you go.
As we stood beside your graveside and sang your soul to heaven, my heart with grief was breaking, and I turned my head to cry. Now I stand here on my own, as the sky sheds nature's teardrops, with my mind so full of memories that 'tis hard to say goodbye. Those great songs that you sang, they'll ring in my ears forever. Songs like the Red Cross Social and the Great Barge of Armagh. But the song that touched my soul, fashioned by a master wordsmith, was the one you wrote in '56 about that famous Ennis flower.
How are you? Are you well?
Hi, Rachel.
Good. Well, it's great to have you here, and it's been great to get to know a little bit more about your journey in lilting. I had the pleasure of seeing you at FLA. You're a bit younger, much younger, But yeah, I was very struck by your lilting at that time, and I still am. And the tips that you gave me, I've been working on it, but I'm not quite ready for today.
Right.
You were right when you said you either have it or you don't. I'm still working. I'm not sure. The rest of them here don't think I have it, but I'm not giving up yet. But I'd love to get some lilting from you, and hear that wonderful skill that you have.
Okay, yeah. Sure, do a jig. Kevin McHugh's jig, I think it's called. It's just, I learned it on the banjo, and then I said I start lilting it. So, grand. Dum dum doodle da dee dee dum dee doodle dee dum dee doodle dee dum dee da doodle da dee dum dee doodle dee dum dee doodle dee dum da doodle da dee dum doodle dee doodle dee da dee doodle dee dum dee da doodle da dee dum dee doodle dee dum dee doodle dee doodle dum dee doodle dee da dee doodle da dee dum doodle dee da dee da dum dee doodle da dee dum doodle dee doodle dee dum dee doodle dee do dum dee doodle dee da dee doodle da dee dum doodle dee da dee do dee da doodle da dee dum dee dum doodle dee do dee dee do.
It was so lovely to have you involved and to hear about not only your music but your grandfather John Kelly and his wonderful collection and the wonderful work that you're doing. Do you want to tell people about your website there, just about the lovely work that you're doing and where they can find all these wonderful tunes for any other musicians that are here?
Yeah, I made a website called it's John Kelly Capel Street .ie. There's a lot of John Kellys out there, including in my own family. So yeah, John Kelly Capel Street .ie. I'm a web designer by trade, and so I decided I got some funding from the Arts Council, and I put together a website that included there's 50 tunes in it that Grandad played, whether he composed some of them and got them from other people, and I researched each of the tunes, and it's him playing for nearly all of the tunes on the fiddle or the concertina, and then there's notation so you can learn it, and then I did research behind each of the tunes as well, and then also I went through information that we had in the family, so there's sections on Dublin and Clare and the musicians that he was associated with, and Sean O'Riordan and Willie Clancy and the Willie Clancy Summer School, and yeah, so it has about 100 pages on it, I think, so you can go and if you get nerdy like me and go look at it if you want.
It's a wonderful resource, and the old concertina reel, I'll hand over to Erin Cullen, they're up there, and hi guys, there's Aoife.
Hello everyone. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Can't wait to hear it.
So thank you so much for sharing this tune with Aoife, and to your granddad John Kelly for such a wonderful tune. It was really great to work on it together. We really enjoyed it, and it was great to kind of get a different tune to what we normally play, so we'll give it a go.
Great.
But thank you all for a lovely evening, and keep safe and well, and I can't wait till we can all be in person and have a right out hoolie. So in the meantime, keep safe and well, and we'll chat soon. Enjoy the hot weather. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel and John. Bye.
Bye.
And thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
stands on a pleasant vale, far o'er the seas in Inishvale, the home of my childhood.